I worked on Trump's 2020 re-elect campaign for a year. And Natalie Harp was a campaign surrogate for us because she was a benefactor of Right to Try. And I remember her messaging me all the time, asking how she could be more helpful. And it was very obvious to me at that time that she wanted to be in the MAGA world and be in Trump's orbit. And obviously, over time, she has now risen the ranks to be one of his closest aides. She is someone who has the ear of the president. And she serves as an executive assistant for him, but also she is one of the gatekeepers of information for him and controls his social media. So that is something that he only entrusts with very few people. So it shows the level of trust that he has in her to me. But we also have to highlight that because she has access to his social media, she is the one that's feeding him some of these nasty things that he has posted. For example, I think of that racist video that he posted of the Obamas depicting them as monkeys. That was reported to have come from Natalie Harp. So she's feeding him AI slop in addition to lavishing him with praise and feeding him positive tweets and news articles to boost his ego. And I think that's why he keeps her so close, is because she is this a sycophant who is so obsessed with him that it alarms Secret Service, but he likes the way that she makes him feel. And so it was interesting to me to see Republicans jump to the conclusion that Senator Ossoff was insinuating an inappropriate or sexual relationship between the two. When I look at the relationship between the two, and I just think there's something weird going on in the sense of her extreme devotion, borderline obsession with the president. And I think that a lot of aides who are working in Trump 2.0 feel the same. And how do I know that? Because yes, publicly they're defending her, but in that New York Times article that Maggie Haberman put out today, it said that Natalie Harp is described as a loner within the White House. And so I do think that there are a lot of people who actually look at her obsession with him and think that it's a little odd. And that's saying something for an administration full of sycophants.
Well, I mean, what's interesting to me is that these stories can only be known on the inside, right? Like the letters have been shared with journalists and the Secret Service concern has come out because someone shares the concern. And I just want to read some of the things that have come out about the relationship. This is from the New York Times. As long as Ms. Harp is around, Trump enjoys an unvetted flow of information, some of it poisonous and counterproductive, at least as far as a number of his other advisors are concerned. She supplies him with content she fishes out of the social media gutter, like the video he posted depicting the Obamas as apes, and provides him with a view from the world outside official Washington, of which he has always been mistrustful. Her moniker is the human printer because she tails the president with a portable printer so she can hand him information in hard copy. She's a platinum blonde geyser of positivity, there to buck him up when the going gets rough. She believes, or at least vehemently claims to believe, that he totally won the 2020 election. Ding, 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 ding. I mean, it feels like she is both toxic in terms of her lack of attachment to truth. I mean, you can see why John Kelly doesn't have a role in this White House and why someone like this does. But I wonder why someone like Susie Wiles is so comfortable with someone who is getting Trump to do things that are not in his political interest. I mean, he's plunging in the polls not because he doesn't believe his 2020 lies, but because he doesn't believe the reality of people's economic despair. Sarah?
Yeah, I think Susie Wiles picks and chooses her battles with Trump, and she looks at someone like Natalie Harp and thinks that it's a lost cause for her. That Natalie Harp has ingratiated herself so much in Trump's orbit and in his world that it's not worth it for Susie Wiles to try to push back. We know that she previously did in the past, or I assume it was Susie Wiles or other top senior campaign officials during the 2024 campaign, because it was reported that during that summer before the November election, Trump stayed at Bedminster, and while he was staying at Bedminster, the campaign staff wanted to create distance between Harp and the president because they were worried about how close the two had become. And so they refused to give Harp a bedroom at Bedminster. And what did Harp do? She came up with a workaround. She decided to stay in the women's locker room all summer long at Bedminster, despite being given not being given a room. So that shows me that senior level officials, possibly Susie Wiles, did try to create a rift between the two and some distance, but they were unsuccessful because it appears